fucking bastard! Is there anyone there? Yes. Answer! Go ahead! Extra, go ahead!
Start asking you. Not the time, that's the rock. put her hard to starboard, and on the end is full of stone, but it's too close. I tried to port round it, but she hit. Close all the tight doors. Doors at close down. All stop. Find the carpet. Get the thermal ship. Yes, sir.
Housekeeping. This is a very important information. I've taken time out of my time to share it with you, and it could literally, when I tell you, it could literally save your life. I'm not joking. So please take this very seriously and grab your drink, get yourself all comfortable so that you can pay close attention. You're going to want to shut down your Facebook, shut your email down. Be present and eliminate distractions. Pay attention, like I said. Turn off your phone, shut the door, tell others to leave you alone for about 90 minutes. And have your pen and paper handy. You're going to want to take notes. So who is Suzette Koyman and why you should listen? Hi, I'm Suzette Koyman, and I am the CEO of Enhance Your Net, LLC. I hold an MBA with a marketing emphasis, identity theft and business specialist, author, speaker. I've helped others to be able to minimize and recuperate from identity theft and so much more. I hold a genuine concern in helping others in the fight against identity theft. Giving education as your first line of defense. Be sure to stay to the end and get your bonus as promised. Write down or bookmark this now, www.EYN, that stands for Enhance Your Net, -IDT, that stands for Identity Theft.info/bonus. And at the end, get an access code, because that page, if you go there right now, it's showing it to be behind closed doors. One bonus is guaranteed, and you can get up to 3 bonuses. See the tip of the iceberg? That's just the beginning. Identity theft, the longer that it is undetected, the bigger it gets, the greater the damage. Identity theft takes on a life of its own. Well, it takes over yours. So identity theft, an iceberg effect, constant change and intertwining. It's the #1 consumer complaint with the FTC for the last 14 years. So white-collar crime, it surpasses bank robbery, more money, less risk for being caught or punished. Learn what identity theft really is. This is my promise. Sharing real-life stories and examples. You'll have fun in learning through polls what you do or you don't know. Learn what to look for in a plan. Review the solution, services that are out there. Be informed and be the hero of your family. At the end, get rewarded. You're going to get a special bonus info that you can use right now to help protect you and your family when identity theft strikes. What is identity theft? When either all or parts of key identifying information is combined to represent another person as being you. Poll time. All right, let's get educated. Identity theft. How many forms are there? Is there just 1, 2, 4, 6, or 8? Let me go ahead and put this poll together. Were you thinking about that? Okay, go ahead and start keying in your information. Alrighty, so here's the answer. Identity theft. How many forms are there? The correct answer is 8, with 6 being at the core. That is a lot. Poll time. Let's educate yourself. Who has 5 times the financial risk? A man, a woman, a business owner, a child, the rich, or the poor? Take a look at those answers while I start putting the poll together here for you. Here comes in the answers of what you guys have indicated. Who has 5 times the financial risk? The correct answer is your child. According to the 2014 reports, children have had a 35% increase in identity theft in the financial sector. A perpetrator has up to 18 years at least of use in building great credit. Then when time's up, lets everything go into default. Financial credit, that's kind of a given of which areas are affected by identity theft, right? But what about these other areas? Do you think they might apply? Medical, driver's license, Social Security, where taxes are concerned and there are people just working under your name? Criminal, or all the above? Let's take a look and see what you guys think. Here's the poll. Put the answers together here. Go ahead and start keying in your information. Okay. So this is what you guys think. The answer, which areas are affected by identity theft, is financial, dealing with credit. Like I said, that's a given. Medical, driver's license, taxes and various areas of Social Security, just working under your name, benefits and things of that nature. Criminal, so all of the above. Every area has a factor of identity theft. Identity theft examples. Now, we're going to be covering some real life stories. These are stories that have been in the news so that you can have a video of understanding what that identity theft in that particular segment is pertaining to. Now, financial, that is the easiest to spot. That's why there's so much hoopla about it. And in this particular story, I want you to understand what a straw buyer is. Okay? Anybody know what that is? Let's go ahead and get you an example or explanation. A straw buyer is used when the real buyer cannot complete the transaction for some reason, like that of a family member who does not have creditworthiness. It is not necessarily illegal to use a straw buyer, except where the transaction involves fraud or purchasing goods for someone who is legally barred from making the purchase himself. So let's take a look at this story.
We were just talking about current events, and Sherry Capuano was on her front lawn chatting with neighbors when a stranger drove by. He says, you shall I have this foreclosure paperwork to give you. And I'm like, oh my God, the foreclosure wasn't on this house, which Capuano owns. It was on these 2 houses she had never seen and had no idea she owned. Oh, my legs started shaking. I said, I own 2 houses in Maryland. You gotta be kidding me. It wasn't a joke. Capuano's identity had been stolen. Her name was on the mortgages, and now the banks wanted their money. And it all happened because 5 years ago, while running errands, Capuano had lost her wallet. I can't see my credit cards. I got a new driver's license. Nothing ever happened. So I didn't think anything of it. That lost wallet opened the door to a ring of thieves running mortgage scams in South Florida's hot real estate market. The scammers had Capuano's Social Security card and her driver's license, which they apparently altered with the photograph of what is known as a straw buyer. That doesn't look like me. No, that's not my signature either. The straw buyer used Sherry's identity to buy these 2 houses. Then came the crucial step. The scammers took out home equity loans for large amounts of cash, using the houses as collateral. $91,000 from one, $74,000 from the other, and at least $12,000 in unsecured credit. In total, the thieves made off with at least $177,000 in cash. But Sherry is responsible for all the mortgages. How much is it in total? Almost $1 million between the 2 mortgages, the second mortgages, unsecured line of credit that leads to that. It's a new type of that. And Jenny, the sheriff of Broward County, Florida, calls identity theft scams the new street crime that's outpacing police everywhere.
It's a growing criminal enterprise across the country, in this community, that is going to grow and grow and not going to get smaller.
According to the FBI, mortgage fraud alone amounted to $1 billion last year.
I can tell you, lock people will lock your car when it comes to robbery. But when it comes to this type of thing, it's very difficult to be prepared and to fight back.
I'm just a normal person, and something like this can happen. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. Recently, Sherry Capuano's wallet was stolen again, but this time she's lucky. The thieves only took the cash. Roger Scherz, CBS News, Coral Springs, Florida.
Medical. It has an annual rate increase of 32% for the past several years. This is the information that could kill. It's considered to be the #1 identity theft problem in several states, such as in Utah. California is to be at the top of the list over all of the states. This lady, Vicki Blair, let's listen to her story. She has 2 degrees in system analysis, but she couldn't get a job. Let's find out why.
Identity theft is the fastest growing crime in America. It costs consumers billions of dollars a year. And even worse is medical identity theft. As consumer specialist Romero shows you in this investigative report, medical ID theft could cost you your life. Vicki Blair has 2 college degrees, professional certification, and was a systems analyst for a major aerospace firm for 10 years. But then this Westminster woman had trouble finding a job.
I had interviews, I had no offers. I couldn't figure it out.
But one day Vicki did figure it out. She's a victim of medical identity theft. Another woman is using Vicki's name and other personal information to get medical care. Now Vicki's medical records are a disaster.
I am an alcoholic, according to them, and a drug addict.
According to a recent survey sponsored by Experian, the credit reporting service, Vicki is a victim of one of the fastest growing problems in America, with California at the top of the list.
Based on the research that we did, about 1.5 million Americans are dealing with medical identity theft in a given year. So that's a significant number of people, and at a $21,000 average cost for identity theft, that's a huge problem.
And the problem gets worse. Once you become a victim, try to clear your name. Author and ID theft expert Murray Frank says it's nearly impossible.
They're worried about maybe getting sued for medical malpractice, so they don't want to remove or delete this information. So it stays on this electronic record.
But here's the worst part of medical identity theft. It's not only the loss of your money, the loss of your job, the loss of your reputation to worry about, but medical identity theft can also mean the loss of your life.
People don't realize that if someone steals your identity, that your blood type may be very different from their blood type. And if you're in an accident and they give you blood that is not the same blood type as yours, that could be a death knell for you.
Because you could be a victim and not know it until you need major medical care, Jennifer Moore, with Experience Protect My ID, says, guard your health insurance cards the same way you would guard your credit card. Shred all documents containing personal information. Review your personal health care records for mistakes or unusual entries periodically. And
You want to check your credit report regularly to make sure that there's either collections or derogatory information or new loans that are out there for medical treatment. They destroyed my credibility.
don't let it happen to you. This is Rick Romero, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Medical identity theft horror story. This was actually in 2011. It wasn't too long ago. Talk about small world. I actually found out that my grandchildren's other nana, kind of like grandmother to them, actually personally knew this. So it's so amazing when you realize how intertwined we really are and how close somebody that you might know could actually be a victim of identity theft. Let's listen to her story.
shape, medical ID theft. Consumer correspondent Susan Coburn is here to explain how you could be at risk. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Julie. This is when someone goes to a doctor's office or the hospital pretending to be you. Crooks have received everything from medications to liver transplants using someone else's name. The government estimates that 200,000 people are falling victim to this crime. People like mother of four, Andrew Sachs. It was absolutely horrifying. You just would never imagine in a million years that something could happen like this. Several months ago, Andrew Sachs got an alarming phone call. Her newborn baby had just tested positive for illegal drugs. The problem is, Andrew hasn't given birth in years. As much as I denied it, they just kept insisting that yes, I was the mother of this child. There was nothing I could say to get out of it. To make matters worse, authorities showed up at her door the next day, calling her an unfit mother and threatening to take away all four of her kids. When you know you're innocent and you didn't do anything wrong, it just absolutely, I was in tears. I was a wreck. Turns out, Andrew was the victim of medical ID theft. Someone had stolen her driver's license, walked into a hospital, and had a baby, leaving Andrew with a $10,000 bill and a fight to clear her name. Do you think it's a big problem? It's a huge problem. Chris Dorn is a fraud expert with Ingenix, a company that tracks medical ID theft cases. He says victims have more worries than just fraudulent doctor bills. Your medical records can also be altered, with the clerk's information substituted for your own.
Inadvertently, your blood type can be changed, your medications are can be changed, your underlying medical conditions can be changed,
Which can be life-threatening.
certainly.
That's a scary fact. To crack down on the problem, some hospitals like this one outside Hartford, Connecticut, are now asking patients for proof of identification.
Now, medical identity theft was just the beginning. Now they're finding it's overlapping into your car insurance, your life insurance, your renter's insurance. So, for example, like if it's in the life insurance and somebody that you know has a claim that's paid out against it, you might not have anything left for you, because if it happens to be with the company that they think one becomes fraudulent, they might question the other. Or they'll say, just like in your taxes, oh, that's already been paid out. Driver's license. This is the gateway into the criminal sector. You're going to find that as we go through this, the identity theft tends to intertwine a lot between the different categories. One opens up one door, and then it opens up another, and another, and another. Before you know it, you have a life of hell, to be honest with you. Let's take a look at what we have here on New Haven.
Identity theft is a problem that affects millions of people every year.
And you made one woman not only lost her identity, but also her job. She's finally got able to help her get her life back up track.
This year, Jenny Rose is here now with her story. Documents said the victim was marked at gunpoint in Norwalk. First was stolen, needed to have the license, birth certificate, and social security card. Reported the crime to the police. That was just the beginning of the nightmare. The name on the mugshot is Tamara Boston, but this is the real Tamara Boston. This woman has been posing as her for over a year and a half. First, Tamara Boston started getting collections notices. She opened up a banking account for my name and just put it nothing whatsoever. The bills now total over $5,000. Boston is the security account, but it's affected her credit. Of course, I paid it in. I paid it apartment, I paid it car. But she still had her job driving ABC charter buses on her commercial driver's license. Until she got this, stating that my license is about to be suspended. His pastor was pulled over in West Haven with no registration, no insurance, only a license saying she was Tamara Boston. The real Boston went to court if he couldn't reinstate the license. And Boston herself was pulled over while driving the bus. So it was somebody else's negligence. It was not my license. That's what now my license is suspended. When she lost the job, the case is well documented. She's been working with West Haven Police as well as the state's attorney's office. But in the meantime, she's lost her job and thousands to creditor was in New Haven, one of their prostitution stings. Well, she gave her a whole name one out. I'm glad. Thanks. Pastor will be in Milford Superior Court in January. Boston plans to go and tells her signing it and fulfill Richard her favor because she'll be able to clear her record and her license reinstated once and for all.
Biggest target? Kids under 5. Kids have 5 times the financial risk over an adult. Overall, the identity theft areas, 51 times greater. It's considered to be the newest form of child abuse. Child identity theft, according to the 2014 reports, had a 35% increase. Young and even the unborn are being affected. Baby identity theft, a predictable number that allows the theft before the birth. How can this be? Check out this news report and see for yourself.
This morning on Today Investigates, the new twist on an old crime. Identity thieves now targeting babies. NBC's Jeff Watson is here with information that parents really need to know. Jeff, good morning.
Yeah, this is an important one, Ann. Good morning to you. I know your kids are in high school now, and so they're a little older for this, but for a lot of us younger parents, the question you have to ask yourself, when was the last time you checked your child's credit report? I know I haven't. I have 2 little girls. And the crooks know it. Now they're so advanced, they can actually steal your baby's social security number before they're even born, racking up millions in debt. This morning, we tracked down the alleged thieves and show you exactly how they do it. Egan is only 2 years old, but already owes thousands in credit card debt and has declared bankruptcy.
You think this must be a joke, and then you realize, no, this is actually incredibly serious.
9-year-old Riley is in default on utility bills. Her social was stolen 11 years before she was even born.
As a mother, I was shocked and angry and violated.
Katie was only 3 years old when crooks stole her identity. Now, as a teenager, her credit report shows over $750,000 in debt, all at the hands of ID thieves. A scary thought for a young girl.
I mean that because it is illegal, they should be in jail.
But they're not. In fact, we found 2 men using her identity, living free. How did you get her social security number? You don't want to talk? This guy works at an auto body shop just miles from Katie's house. And we tracked another one.
According to the credit bureau, you're an identity thief.
Working at a local 99-cent store. A leading credit bureau says both these men stole Katie's social security number to take out mortgages and auto loans.
It's not fair.
That they're still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Our Today investigation discovered thousands of young victims.
Why are babies' identities in particular so attractive to these thieves?
It's a blank check for these criminals. The child doesn't realize that they have a problem until they start using their credit.
And that may not happen until your child is 18, applying for their first loan or credit card, giving thieves free rein with their identities for years.
Never in my wildest dreams had I thought to run a credit check on my son, and what parent would run a credit check on their child? He's in diapers, he's crawling.
Stealing their socials is easier than you think. That number is actually a code. The first 3 digits stand for the state it was issued in. The last 6 digits stand for the approximate date it was issued, a clue to the person's birthday. Now, using simple software, crooks can actually predict kids' numbers, meaning when your newborn gets their number at the hospital, it may already be stolen, which is exactly what happened to Riley. Her mom discovered it years later by chance on a family credit check.
The government gave me a bum number that obviously they hadn't cleared. It's a financial birth defect, and the parents aren't warned.
And in many cases, police don't have the time or resources to catch these crooks, leaving parents like Katie's dad out in the cold.
In a nutshell, what have the police done for you? Nothing. It's almost like they don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be bothered, but we found 2 of the suspects pretty easily. Hey, how are you?
In fact, we found Manuel Contreras in Arizona in just 2 days.
Jeff Watson from NBC News. According to the credit bureau, you've been using a young girl's social security number and getting home loans, racking up nearly $500,000 in debt. How do you respond to that?
$1,000,000.
$500,000. Have you been using a young girl's social security number and passing it off as your own?
I don't understand.
So we brought in our translator. You took out a home loan
Usted hizo un préstamo
with this young
hipotecario
girl social security number in 2003 for $107,000,
203 por
2006
107,000.
for $153,000, also in 2006 for $238,000. That's against the law.
I look up right now. You are arrested for it? I'll pay you. I'll get. I know about
I'm not a police officer. I'm just trying to figure out why you did this.
why I don't see no cops.
That's a good question. I don't know why you haven't been arrested. That same day, we surprised another suspected thief.
Hi, Jeff Lawson from NBC News.
Mario Salinas, working in his store parking lot, wrangling grocery carts. The credit bureau says, using Katie Social, he's racked up over 35 grand in debt. Have you ever used the social
¿Usted
security number?
ha usado ese número de seguro social en el pasado?
No, señor.
I've never used it.
According to the credit bureau, you have, and you've taken out several auto loans.
Según los buros de crédito, usted ha sacado esos dos préstamos utilizando ese número.
There's a young girl whose credit could have been ruined because
Estamos
of this.
tirando.
You have anything to say to her?
I don't know.
You don't know. But authorities know a flaw in the credit system lets them get away with it. When someone applies for, say, a loan, usually the bank only checks that the social security number has a good credit history. Believe it or not, most banks don't check whether that number was assigned to that name because the government charges a fee to do that, and most banks don't want to pay. So thieves can use a child's identity over and over again.
That seems ridiculous.
The system definitely has a gap.
And for parents, cleaning up the mess can take years and haunt your child, ruining their credit as adults. Do you want to say anything to this young girl's family? You don't want to say anything to them? Are you going to stop using this young girl's social security number?
I talked to my lawyer first. I call you, I talk to you. Everything. Okay?
Okay, well, I'll wait for your call.
I call you.
We're still waiting. He's still out there. He's free.
Burns me up. He can walk around living on my child's social and nothing's being done about it.
But there is something you can do about it, a credit check for your kids. It will tell you if anyone else is using their identity. For more information about how to get a free credit check right now for you and your entire family, all you have to do is go to our website, today.com. All the information is right there for you. By the way, the government is trying to make it tougher for thieves. Beginning next month, new social security numbers will be more randomized, making it nearly impossible, Anne, for crooks to predict them. But still, thousands, if not tens of thousands of cases out there right now.
Well, as long as it's going to take to close this gap,
Yeah.
what can parents do if they suspect their children's identities have been stolen?
Right, so if you do that credit check and it comes back that the identity is stolen, really only one thing you can do is immediately put a freeze on your child's credit, so that way it'll prevent any future theft. But it will take years for you to call the credit card companies and the credit bureaus. The burden is on you to prove that your identity has been stolen, and it is a major pain.
It is infuriating, Jeff Lawson. Thank you so much.
Madison, she discovers that she was a victim 10 years earlier when she was just 6 years old. Madison's Social Security number is being held by at least 2 others that she is responsible for in paying the taxes. Check out what her story is and how it's affecting her at just age 16.
If we're honest, most of us are not doing a whole lot about identity theft, so imagine how much more vulnerable our kids are to the crooks. We've discovered children under age 5 are the newest targets, and this is a crime that can ruin our kids' credit before they're even old enough to have credit. It happened at age 6.
It's really scary. Just to think what could happen to me in the future and what it's going to affect.
10 years later, Madison Polanski had no idea what was stolen until this surprising letter arrived a few months ago, saying she owes more than $1,000 in taxes on a $33,000 income.
I haven't really worked that much, and obviously not when I was 6 years old nor 12.
According to the state, Madison's Social Security number also belongs to a Sergio Blandon and a Rodrigo Lopez. Both have been using her Social Security number for employment for years. A child is 51 times more likely to be a victim of identity theft than an adult is, meaning, it is the fastest growing segment of this crime. John Cilio is an identity theft expert. He travels the country as a keynote speaker. He says ID thieves have been targeting kids more because they know the crime goes unnoticed for years. The reason thieves target kids is, number one, they have pristine
credit.
A recent study of 27,000 children found 10% had their social security number tied to mortgages, loans, credit card accounts, and even vehicle registrations. The most targeted group, kids under 5. According to Cilio, these are often family members committing friendly fraud.
It's where a parent or a relative of the child, maybe they're struggling financially, they use the child's identity to gain credit or to gain service of some sort. My daughter's going to be going off to college soon. They told me it could affect her ability to maybe get student loans if it truly has gone off to her credit.
It's scary to know that those might not be as big of an opportunity as they could have been.
All right, some ideas on how to fight this. Beware what you share. Every time you get information on the web, on social media, or any kind of form, it could end up in the wrong hands, so be careful. Also, focus on prevention. Our expert says it's a good idea to sign up for one of those ID theft monitoring services. Those can help with prevention and recover a victim's credit. And be proactive. Our expert says it could take 10 to 15 years.
Disabled and elderly. They too are also targeted. Take a look in this report showing how they're getting access to and taken advantage of.
Police in Henry County are investigating a string of identity theft cases at a local nursing home. Channel 2's Amy Napier-Bateri, live near the facility in Stockbridge, with how patients realized their information had been compromised and why investigators think there could be more victims out there. Amy?
Justin, investigators started hearing from people being treated here at the Laurel Park Rehabilitation Facility regarding phony credit accounts being opened in their name. Police tell us someone working at the facility was targeting patients there, many of them disabled and elderly, and managed to access up to $35,000 worth of credit, all in their names.
That's not right, is it?
Nancy Rowell Crane says her mom, Grace Rowell, is totally dependent on her care. The 84-year-old suffers from memory loss and recently fractured a hip. She went to Laurel Park Rehabilitation Center in Stockbridge for treatment. That's where she likely came in contact with this woman, Tawai Collins.
Detectives advised about 8 victims they believe they were all at that location in Stockbridge receiving some type of rehabilitation or treatment at some point.
Rowell Crane says someone at the facility asked for her mother's insurance information a second time because it was missing from her file. A short time later, letters from credit card companies started showing up at her mother's home, referring to suspicious applications or notices of suspensions on accounts, like this one from the Home Shopping Network, which she says her mom never opened.
It scares me for all the patients because this is a vulnerable population anyway.
A 69-year-old patient at the facility told police someone claiming to be with the insurance company called asking for personal information. After getting fraud alerts on her cell phone, she called her bank, which told her a woman named Tawai Collins was claiming to have access to the patient's account. Rowell Crane got her mom's credit report and noticed a strange McDonough address. Police got a search warrant and arrested Collins there. They also found financial documents and merchandise bought with credit in victims' names. Rowell Crane wants to know why her mom's information wasn't better protected at the facility.
They have yet to reach out to me to even tell me this has occurred. And so I know that there's probably other patients there that have no clue that this is a possibility.
We reached out to Laurel Park as well as their corporate management today, but an administrator told me they could not comment on this. Police say they are working to find out if Collins was in fact operating alone, and they want anyone who's been treated at the facility since June to go back and check their credit records and call police if they see anything suspicious. We're live in Henry County. Amy Napier-Bateri, Channel 2 Action News, Nightbeat.
Now let's hope they make some quick progress. Thank you, Amy.
Death effects, financial, medical, which is life-threatening, other insurances, life insurance, car insurance, renter's insurance, house insurance, driver's license, criminal, taxes, identity theft. It doesn't care if you are young, old, or even dead. Now you know. Who do you know who is a business owner in the service industry, manufacturing, automotive, medical, trucking, or other professional services? Business owner has the greatest risk. They could be exposed to all areas, plus typically a business owner tends to fund their business using personal lines of credit, normally larger lines of credit. Are you or do you know a business owner? There's several key points that are not well known, but can have a major impact. Let's see if you know what they are. Okay, it's poll time. Let's educate yourself. Identity theft has become costly to lenders. Which clauses could apply when you're getting a loan? A, credit reports can be randomly ran during the repayment process. B, a borrower could be current on their current account with the lender, but when they show to be behind on any other account, the lender can demand full and immediate payment. C, loan acceleration can be triggered by violating loan covenants, which are promises to maintain specific financial ratios. Or D, all of the above. Let's see what you guys think. Let me go ahead and put these things in for your poll. Okay, and the answers are in. There you go. Correct answer, D, all of the above. All three could apply. Now, how do they relate, the FICO score and identity theft? Okay, it's poll time again. Let's educate yourself. What things can a FICO score affect? A, interest rate. B, ability to rent. C, ability to get a job. Or D, all the above. Okay, so let me go ahead and get those poll questions set up. All right, go ahead and start entering in your answers to those. Okay, and we've got the answers. This is what you're thinking they are. What things can a FICO score affect? The correct answer is A, the interest rate. B, the ability to rent. C, the ability to get a job. D, all the above. The correct answer is actually all the above. Full time. Let's educate yourself. When you discover a delinquent debt, which should have the priority? The one that's at 30-day mark, or B, the one that's at 120-day mark? Let me go ahead and key in the questions here. Okay, so an answer, when you discover a delinquent debt, which should have the priority? You put personal finance expert Susie Orman explains how to raise your FICO score by paying your newest bills first. Hence, the importance of monitoring your credit daily, not monthly, not quarterly, but daily. Allows you to take action fast and minimize the damage. So, in the answer to that question, the correct answer is 30 days has the priority. She said after it hits past the 30-day mark, going into 45 and onward, she said the damage had already been done. So it's much better to take care of, like, say, if you have even one bill or two bills that just hit the 30-day and you have one at the 120-day, take care of the first two new bills first, because that's the one that's going to have the greatest impact on your FICO score. All right? Now we're going to cover a starting point. This is what the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, feels that you need to know. Let's take a watch on this, and we'll be able to have some notes to pull from it.
Somebody took it away from me in a blink of an eye. In less than a month, this woman destroyed what I had worked for 15 years.
I mean, your credit score is basically
Oh, you have.
I was mugged, they got my information,
It can really negatively affect your life.
then they went off with the information and it basically became me.
I feel it's a loss of control that someone's out there pretending to be you and doing things in your name that can come back to haunt you.
Somebody was using my name and all my personal data.
They've done it all.
I just didn't even know where to start.
They had a long record.
It's a terrible feeling.
Identity theft. It happens when your personal information is stolen and used without your knowledge. It's a serious crime that can cost you time and money, ruin your credit, and destroy your good name.
When I was a victim of identity theft, my mail had been stolen.
I was shopping at a grocery store and someone took my wallet. I think I made a purchase and they stole all my debit card information.
My briefcase had been tampered with, and when I looked in it, I saw that my passport and my driver's license, which I had in there, had been taken.
Identity theft happens when someone takes information about you and then uses it to commit fraud.
Identity theft is very serious.
We know that identity fraud in its various forms has affected 10 million people in any given year. And what that means in dollars is that it's a loss to businesses of about $50 billion. On top of that, victims of identity theft have spent $5 billion trying to undo this harm. Everyone needs to be conscious that identity theft is real.
When you get news that your identity has been potentially stolen, it's sort of this open-ended problem that has occurred, and you don't know what's going to come of it.
No one's immune, which isn't to say that we're powerless. There's a lot we can do to deter, detect, and defend ourselves.
My identity was stolen when I was mugged. It is pretty traumatic, especially how it happened to me. They got my information, and it happened. Then they went off with the information, and it basically became me when they went to charging items in stores.
Identity thieves can only take advantage of you if you give them information or if they obtain information about you. So what you want to do is take steps to make it less likely that your information falls into the wrong hands. There are many ways that you can do that. And the first is to stop and look in your wallet. What are you carrying around? And if you lose your wallet, are you giving somebody else an opportunity to commit identity theft? So avoid carrying around any identification that has your social security number on it in your wallet, because that can be used very easily and efficiently by identity thieves.
They can have your name, they can have your birthday, but if they don't have your social security number, they're not going to get very far. But all they really need is a social security number, and they can misspell your name and still get credit. The only place that social security card number should be is in your head and protected somewhere at home where you keep your other valuables.
If someone asks you to provide a social security number, ask them why they need it, how they're going to keep it, how they're going to safeguard it, because you don't want that number to fall into the wrong hands.
I had an incident that I thought was a valid reason to give out information until they asked for my social security number. I went as far as the first 3 digits. They don't need that. Then I hung up.
This is a crime. You have to think when you're at home, protect your identity. Don't leave around your personal documents, your date of birth. Somebody could come into your home and have immediate access to that information.
You also have to be careful about your trash. Now, a lot of people routinely receive things in the mail, maybe bank statements, credit card statements, or health insurance forms, and if they don't need them, they just throw them away in the trash. They shouldn't do that. Everyone should invest in a shredder. So before they dispose of these critical documents, you shred them. Identity thieves, don't worry about getting their hands dirty. They will go through your trash to retrieve these documents. They go where the information is. They'll steal your mail, they will steal your trash, they'll steal your wallet, and that's how they get information about you.
Deter identity theft. Protect your social security number. Shred financial documents and paperwork with any personal information before you throw them out. Never give out personal information on the phone or internet unless you know who you are dealing with.
My name is Nicole M. Robinson. The woman who stole my identity, her name is Nicole A. Robinson. She stole my information from the pharmaceutical company that she works for. After this happened, it devastated my financial life. I ordered my credit reports, and I received a credit report in the mail that was 54 pages long. It had over 170 accounts. 140 of them were in collections. It had 42 different names and 65 different addresses on it. Not only was somebody else reaping the benefits of my good credit, I could no longer have access to my own good credit.
And I cried. I cried every day for 3 months. On top of the financial and the time that people spend in resolving these issues, it's an emotional burden on victims. My life before the identity theft case was wonderful. In less than a month, this woman destroyed what I had worked for 15 years. She got my life. If an identity thief uses, for example, your social security number and applies for new credit in your name, as opposed to raiding an existing account, there may be no way for you to know about it unless you've checked your credit report and you see that a new account that you didn't even know about has been opened in your name. That's why it's very important to monitor your credit report regularly.
Detect identity theft. Check your credit report at annualcreditreport.com. Federal law gives you the right to a free credit report every year from the 3 national consumer reporting companies. Review your financial accounts regularly. Look for charges you did not make.
When someone realizes that they're a victim of identity theft, it's like getting a kick in the gut. You feel paralyzed for a moment, but it's really essential for victims to move quickly and deliberately in starting to resolve the problems that arise from identity theft. I did what everybody knows to do, and that's call your credit card companies and cancel your credit cards. However, that's not enough. There was one major bit of information I did not have, and that was to call the 3 major credit bureaus. And I did not do that. And what happened was this person then went back. She was able to reopen the credit cards that I canceled. She was also able to open new credit cards in my name. If you find you've become a victim of identity theft, the first thing you need to do is contact one of the 3 major credit reporting agencies and have them put a fraud alert on your file.
You got to take it seriously. You even suspect it, you got to put fraud alerts on. You got to take the steps to protect yourself. And you got to inform yourself about what to do so that when it does happen to you, you can do it quickly because time is critical.
You next want to contact each of the creditors or other institutions where your information has been misused. Then you follow up in writing and dispute these accounts and get a letter from them resolving these disputed fraudulent accounts.
The FTC has an affidavit, which in my case I used to write out your explanation of what happened, that you can then use to submit to creditors trying to collect on fraudulent accounts. When you're trying to tell them, look, my identity was stolen, it helps prove it to them.
You next want to contact your local police department, report the crime, and get a copy of the police report.
You should contact the police immediately, because otherwise you have no proof that there was a crime.
Very important that you report it to the police because there are certain agencies that you need or we recommend that you contact, and they're probably going to refer you back to the police department to see if you have a police report or not.
And finally, you need to contact the Federal Trade Commission online at ftc.gov/ID theft or call us toll free at 877-ID theft to report this to us.
Defend against identity theft. Call the 3 credit reporting companies and place a fraud alert on your credit report. Then ask for the free credit report you're entitled to. Close any accounts that you suspect have been tampered with or opened fraudulently. Start by calling the security or fraud department of each company. Follow up in writing and include copies of supporting documents. File a police report. Contact the FTC. Your information also helps law enforcement officials across the country to track down and stop ID thieves.
Let's treat our personal information as we would our cash. Let's safeguard it, whether we're at home, whether it's in our purse or our wallet, or at our office. Your personal information is cash, and in the wrong hands, it can destroy your life.
The FTC plays a central role in helping victims avoid and recover from identity theft. So we have developed substantial consumer education material that's available on our website at ftc.gov/ID theft.
Identity theft is serious, but even if your identity has been stolen and there has been, fraudulent accounts open in your name, you can defend yourself and get those resolved in your favor.
There are times when you just do not want to finish and you just want to say, forget it, I can't do this anymore. But you have to find that way inside of you to just keep going, because this is something that if you don't clear, it definitely affects the rest of your life.
What I want is for us to create a culture of security for our personal information so that this crime in the future will be diminished greatly.
The most well-known or common knowledge means of obtaining your information over the years has been by having intercepted mail. That's why you're starting to see more and more mailboxes becoming with a lock and key. If you don't have a lock and key mailbox, I would suggest you change it or have everything sent to a P.O. box. The trash, just because you don't want that junk mail doesn't mean that your identity thief doesn't want that junk mail. They will certainly go through it to find it. Data breaches, which is by the handfuls every day, careless workers, a lost purse or a wallet. These are the most common things that have come across and how they're getting your information in years past. Now, known but to a little bit lesser degree are internet rings, also black market for stolen identities, flea markets, yes, flea markets, family members, co-workers, employees of unsuspecting employers, mortgage companies, medical facilities. These are all key areas. They're becoming more and more known. Also through internet surfing, also through phishing. Phishing, what that is by masquerading as a trustworthy entity in electronic communication, such as from banks, online payment processors, or IT administrators to lure the unsuspecting public. Phishing emails or instant messaging may contain links to websites that are infected with malware that could actually capture your keystrokes and more off your computer. One of the first known means of social engineering was through social media. It could affect all, but mainly in Facebook and Instagram. In both cases, a person posting could reveal personal data, either through their words, such as a complete name and date of birth, or GPS tracking. The pictures exact with built-in GPS data, naming the exact locations where a shot was made. Facebook tends to strip this data, but Instagram currently does not do that, and it's just now becoming known. On the social media Instagram ring, this was a major bust, and it was really recent. The biggest factor here is that people were not paying attention. They had pictures of their first checks, which leads to wash checks. And when they use a wash check, sometimes called wash, sometimes called whitewashed, basically you have a real account number, you have a real routing number, you have even a real checking account or check number perhaps, but they have whited out who is paid to. And they're running these through these different banks, getting paid on them, and then disappearing. So this one little area alone of the wash checks is draining bank accounts. It's draining bank accounts across the nation. And this is just now becoming known. Also on the social media, using verbiage found online conversation to sound like a friend. This is the latest in the social engineering that's just becoming known of how they're using this. Let me give you a more in-depth explanation of what I mean. Identity theft speaker and privacy expert John Silos on 60 Minutes gives an excellent explanation. He was the hunted, and now he has become the hunter.
There's one thing we all have that no one else does, and it's undoubtedly the most valuable thing you own, your identity. Lose it to a thief and you'll quickly realize it's worth more than you think. And it's a crime striking more of us, at least 1,000 people last year. Thieves stealing names, bank details, online lives, profiting from the very essence of who you are. Ask John Cilio, a leading American authority on identity theft.
I'm incredibly concerned, and I guess that's part of what I'm doing in New Zealand, because I want you to be able to see the mistakes that I've made. What do we have here? Cell phone, that's what I go for first.
Really? Why?
I'll tell you that in a minute.
His advice is more than just theoretical. Cilio gives me a very practical tutorial on how vulnerable I am, how vulnerable we all are to identity thieves.
You've got a Foodtown card, I can get some information from them, an AA card, driver's license, definitely going to need that later.
We'll see later on just how easily he could work it. if he wanted to rip me off. He knows how because he's been on the other side, having his identity stolen twice, victim of the global underground industry which is flourishing on the internet. Through dodgy online forums like these, his details ended up in the hands of a woman who racked up $240,000 worth of debt in his good name. The whole experience led him to throw in IT and make the study of identity fraud a career. He's now in Dunedin to write his third book on the subject.
Essentially, I spent 2 years fighting to stay out of jail. But what really impacts you is the emotional side of it. For me, it was, I spent 2 years not at home, not present for my family, not tending to my business, which eventually died. And that's, identity is not just about numbers. It's about who we are, and it can completely redefine who you are.
Identity theft is fast becoming the crime of our times. They say an identity is stolen online worldwide once every 3 seconds. And in the age of social networking, we've made it so much easier for the criminal than ever before.
So I just went through to see this.
John Cilio shows us just how much information we readily release about ourselves and how easy it is for someone to exploit it. He goes onto Facebook and picks out a New Zealand student at random, one who's left far too much of her site unprotected.
We know she's a female. We know her full name. We know her parents' names and their profile.
Yeah.
We know that she's single.
Which will be interesting to some people looking at her site.
Yeah, unfortunately, to people with bad intentions,
And here's where what he calls social engineering comes in. Fraudsters or con artists, stalkers even, who want to target you and best time getting to know who you are. What makes you tick?
I can get a sense of, okay, I know who her idol is. I know the way that she speaks to her friends. And when I write and try and friend her, I'm going to use the same language. I'm going to use her friends' names. They're all listed over here. I'm going to say I'm a friend of, Lisa's.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak in the same language, and I'm going to refer to a common event that's on her update page, her wall.
So we decided to think like a criminal. Remember, we don't know Grace. We've never met her. We wondered, how close can we get to her using only the information she puts on Facebook?
Like so many of the 400 million Facebook users, Grace posts frequently and openly about herself, what she thinks, where and what she studies, her favourite places to drink, what she likes to drink, where she works part-time, and sometimes even the days and hours she's working. If someone wanted to find her, she's made it incredibly easy for them.
And so it proves. We spot her on our first attempt to find her in person. Here she is at work, on the night, and in the restaurant she said she would be on her Facebook profile. Time for us to meet her.
You're Grace, right? Yeah. You're a journalism student, yeah? And it's so nice to finally meet you, because I feel like I know so much about you. Oh, really? Yeah, I know. That kind of sounds a little bit weird, doesn't it? Yeah, because I've been reading your Facebook page a little bit lately.
We explained we're not actual stalkers. There is a valid reason for our interest.
It's about proving a point, I suppose, to the public about the idea of privacy. Yeah, what do you reckon? Yeah, it's pretty crazy, I know.
But you don't need to be a Facebook or Twitter user to be a target. John Cilio says we carry around so much information, happily divulging it to the point we might as well have it on public display. It's a potential jackpot for criminals who know there's no specific charge for identity theft, only for the crimes it leads to. So releasing even the most fundamental personal information can leave you exposed, which is why John Cilio pretty much never tells anyone anything. What is your date of birth?
I don't share that.
What about your children? What information do you feel protective about with them?
I rarely give out even their ages, not necessarily because I'm concerned about that specifically, but because it sends a message of, have you ever thought about you give your kids' information away. Birth dates? No way. The amount I could do with a birth date and that child's name and knowing where they're born, I could cultivate their credit line and utilize that credit line for years, and they'd never know it because they don't go for credit until they're 16 or 18 and they're getting their first apartment.
And when they do,
There's nothing there. They have nothing.
it can, of course, be so much simpler. Remember, Cilio has been rifling through my bag. Without even necessarily stealing it, he already has enough information to begin manipulating me. First up, he got my number off my phone. He says he'd ring, pretending to be from the bank, telling me my account's being used suspiciously, but reassuring me they'll make it safe.
I say, excellent, there's no problem. We're going to help you shut it down. Here's additional information I've got on you. The only thing I need to shut it down is I need to verify your full name and your PIN number. That way we can shut it down before there's any liability on your part.
But I think that I know enough about this kind of thing to not reveal my PIN number.
Right. And we all think that. And believe it or not, more than 90% of people who think that they would not give that information away when they're in the heat of the moment and they're being socially engineered, they give it away like that.
Because you've said the right things to make me feel like I trust you.
Exactly.
You're official enough for...
And I can build up more trust. I know more about you than the bank, than your specific bank does.
Because you've seen what I'm
Because
like.
I've seen everything in your bag.
Yeah.
So I can really work the situation.
Is this a typical woman's handbag, or am I carrying around way too much information about myself?
Yes and yes. It is typical. I think the average woman carries, 20 to 30 pieces of identity, and yes, you should be carrying around far less. What you don't
If he'd taken the easy route and just stolen my wallet, he'd simply go online and max out my credit. Surely he couldn't get away with just going into a shop and buying something with my credit card. Or could he?
How you doing? Good. I need a moderate range price Pinot Noir, a Tago.
He has the con man's gift of the gab. He's relaxed and chatty. The retailer is put at ease.
But your girlfriend's got it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can't possibly be that simple. Forging my signature, even though the shop assistant knew it wasn't his card. So you have a bottle of wine.
I do.
How did you pay for it?
Yours,
My credit card.
your credit card.
That is astonishing. The first shop we tried.
Yeah.
Amazing.
First one.
Yeah. If he ever wanted to switch sides, he could probably make a killing. Instead, the hunted has now become the hunter, sussing out the psyche of identity thieves, so he can warn the rest of us, make us a little more savvy to how we too can fall prey.
I'm going to transition into the services that are out there and reviewing them, understanding the lingo in which they're using so that you don't get misled. Resolution, restoration. They're commonly used words when dealing with identity theft plans. Some refer to these words as being fancy and similar, but the meanings are very different. Do you know the difference? Resolution, restoration. What's the difference? With resolution, you have resources. Like if you have a burning house on fire, you're going to be able to have hoses sent out to you. And then good luck on finding the fire hydrant, right? Or anybody else to actually carry out the task. With restoration, not only do you get the hoses, the fire hydrant, but you also get the whole fire department in there to help put out the fire. Big difference. With resolution, you get an FTC book or something similar on a how-to. Wow, you get to do it yourself and follow these instructions. Restoration, you get assigned a competent investigator. With resolution, you're going to get a rap like, oh, that's not in the script. Now what do I do? Oh my gosh. On restoration, we rebuild your life the way it was before the identity theft. So basically, you're not having to face this alone. We're going to send out the crews to put out the fire and the crews to rebuild your life. All right? Resolution, people tend to, their work Is it focused and productive? More than likely not. Restoration? Work is focused and productive in keeping the boss and coworkers happy. Resolution, again, faced with building it by yourself. You probably have a few holes in there if you haven't been a carpenter in the past. Restoration, rebuild your life faster. Resolution, how is it affecting your family? Are you constant argument? Does the blame game start to happen? The frustration, the anger? With restoration, you get back to normal faster. Enjoy your family, enjoy your life. Identity theft is stressful enough, so get the right tools. Rebuild your life faster using the right resources. That is the biggest difference between resolution and restoration. Now, we're going to take a look at the services themselves in review. Understanding the services, a side-by-side comparison. Things to review and to be aware of. Okay, we're going to be evaluating these plans. There's 6 things to look for in any plan. Doesn't matter what company you're looking at. Do they cover just one or all 8 areas of identity theft? Is the plan cost for one person or for couples? Do they cover children in the same fee? Resolution or restoration? Which do they have? Major difference. Do they have attorneys to handle the legal situations of your case? Or do you have to find them and out yourself? Or all of the above? These are all important things. Every single aspect is an important consideration when you're looking at a plan. I don't care what company you're looking at. A side-by-side comparison. All right, let's take a look. We have Legal Shield, Identity Guard, Equifax, Protect My ID, Trust ID, or Trusted ID, LifeLock, Privacy Guard, and ID Freeze. These are the most common that you find out in the marketplace. Now let's take a look first of who has more than one plan. Well, we have Legal Shield with a basic plan for $14.95. We have LifeLock with a standard plan for $19.90. Those are the only 2 that seem to have 2 different plans. Now, looking just at the standard plan, let's point out some of the differences. Adults, the same. Children, Legal Shield covers up to 8 at no additional cost. LifeLock charges $5.99 extra per child, so say $6. So if you had 8 children, that's $48 extra compared to 0 extra for Legal Shield. All right? Are they Better Business rated? Well, Legal Shield is A+. LifeLock, B. All right, here's a big difference. Level of assistance. Complete restoration with Legal Shield. Limited resolution. You already saw that resolution, they're getting sent a lot of a do-it-yourself type thing. They're doing very limited things to assist you individually. All other things seem to be pretty much the same, other than LifeLock has a web watcher. Okay. However, Legal Shield has unlimited consultation on identity theft matters and also access to attorneys, which is an optional thing that you can use for both identity theft and other resources as well. Now let's take a look at the premium plan. Legal Shield Premium for $29.95. LifeLock Advantage, again, $39.90. Or about $10 more. All right. And again, the same difference with the child. You're going to be paying additional $48 if you have 8 kids versus none with Legal Shield. Now, if you compare the premium plans with the other plans out there, it's still less. All right, because with total protection, you're looking at $38.95. Basic, you're looking at $35.90 with Equifax, $31.90, $27.99, $29.98 ID freeze, okay? And ID freeze is more like the basic plan, all right? Then, when you take a look at, let's see what really stands out here. Let's take a look down here, bottom line, because you can see where the marks are. Again, Legal Shield, whether it be the basic or the premium, you have unlimited consultation on identity theft matters. You also have resources to attorneys. That's optional. This is best overall value, okay? Coverage is optional for legal issues as well. It's a very comprehensive product for the price and scope of the coverage. Identity Guard is decent, has monitoring and related services. Restoration help is limited for victims. So they do some restoration, but it is limited. Equifax is useful. It's a combination of credit and ID protection, but a bit pricey. Okay, they're like $35.90. And they have about the same as what Legal Shield has, other than this is recovery assistance. We do with Legal Shield, you have complete restoration. All right. The Protect My ID, that has good value for product range. It has similar things. Again, it's the big difference here is recovery assistance. That's a big difference compared to restoration. And then this is more along the lines like the basic plan, but it's almost double what it is. And then on LifeLock, again, you have limited resolution. So they're sending you out resources that you can use, some resources that you can actually get for free. All right, like on their credit freezes. They have actually been taken to court by all of the major credit depositories or repositories because they were costing them a mint because they were freezing things just that suspect that there might be identity theft without actually following through. And this is something you can do on your own. You don't need to have somebody else freeze it and charge you for it. Do it yourself if that's what you're going to do. And then you have your Privacy Guard and ID freeze. When you really do a side-by-side comparison, you can see where the real value lies. It's all right through here. And it has the most red check marks saying that they cover things. All right, and also the most important things, complete restoration. So now that you have that, let's take another look. Why you might need an attorney for an identity theft problem. Debt collection companies start harassing you by phone, at home, and at work. You're being sued for a debt you didn't create. This is really popular because if it's a credit card, depending on the credit card company that is affected, you may have anywhere from 30 days to maybe 60 days to dispute that claim. Now, how are you going to dispute something if it's something that you didn't even know existed, but you're still going to be responsible for it? All right. And for some things, like if it's a debit card, maybe somebody's opened up a bank account in your name and then went haywire on the debit cards. If you don't have, like, depending on the company, anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, you're just out that money and you are going to be responsible to pay it. Credit bureaus won't remove negative items the thieves created from your credit report. 4, IRS is suing you for not paying taxes on income a thief made at multiple 1099 jobs. 5, law enforcement is arresting you for a missed DUI court date or unpaid speeding tickets in another state where you have not been. 6, you've received a foreclosure notice on a property that you don't own, or at least that you are aware of owning. You lose your job when a background check wrongly shows that you were arrested for prostitution, pornography, or you are a sex offender. 9, you're accused of writing bad checks all over town. 10, a bank refuses to replace money in your account, claiming that you were responsible for not safeguarding your own checking information well enough. This is more common than you would think. 11, you find out that someone filed a bogus tax return before you got yours filed electronically, and the IRS isn't responding to your inquiries. 12, someone has used your health insurance, tested positive for HIV, and now is on your health records. No one will talk to you about changing your medical info, and your life and health insurance have canceled over it. Someone is using fake ID with your info, committed a felony crime, and you are being arrested for during a routine traffic stop, such as for drug trafficking anything like that. These are all areas that you could utilize an attorney. In fact, over 50% of the identity theft issues require the use of an attorney. These are the most common areas for that particular purpose. The silent crime, what you need to know about identity theft. Mr. McCoy, primary author, is a true identity theft expert, gives the reader straight talk about a horrific crime affecting not only the country, but the entire world. The book came out of a $50,000 grant in the study of identity theft. It is unheard of, a university study, to endorse a particular service. But in their review, they discovered who was a true leader in helping with identity theft in all of its forms. A must-read book. And you'll see on page 72 where they did a side-by-side comparison. Who wins? I'll give you a hint. Legal Shield and Kroll combined. A customizable solution. Legal Shield plans offer legal and identity theft monitoring and restoration. Over 50% of identity theft issues require the use of an attorney. Legal help with everyday issues for the same price or less than other plans addressing only certain identity theft issues. A customizable solution. Legal Shield allows you to mix and match the plans, from the basic legal and basic identity theft to extended trial and home-based business supplements. You even have the ability to include the premium identity theft plan as well. Check out its flexible options. Customize your plan today.
Legal Shield. So first things first, what's legal protection and why should you want it? A legal protection plan gives you access to an attorney for a low monthly fee. Attorneys are expensive. We're talking $250 an hour expensive. With a legal protection plan, you could spend a little less than that for an entire year of access to an experienced attorney. You may be wondering, why would I even need an attorney? It turns out that attorneys can help you with all kinds of things, ranging from traffic tickets to your will to going over contracts. Whatever personal legal situation you're facing, an attorney can help. So, legal protection is a smart choice. Why choose Legal Shield? For starters, Legal Shield has been in business for 40 years. And right now, over 1.4 million families trust Legal Shield as their legal protection provider. Legal Shield has partnered with dedicated full-service law firms, which means you'll never have to figure out which attorney to use, and you'll always get an experienced attorney from your state. You'll even have 24/7 access to an attorney for covered emergencies. What all can the attorneys help you with? They can give you advice on what to do in a personal legal situation. They can write letters or make phone calls on your behalf when necessary, review personal contracts and documents. Plus, you're covered with 60 hours of trial and trial prep time over the next year, with an additional 60 hours added each year for the first 5 years. This means that if you or your spouse is named defendant or respondent in a covered civil case, you'll have the peace of mind that a prepared, experienced attorney is on your side. You can enroll with Legal Shield for just $19.95 a month with a one-time enrollment fee of $10. Your specific plan doesn't just cover you, it also covers family members, including your spouse, your significant other, and dependents. We're also proud to offer an identity theft monitoring and restoration service through our top-of-the-line Legal Shield Identity Theft Plan. Identity theft affects millions of Americans each year, but our plan provides you with secure web access to an up-to-date credit report, detailed analysis of your personal credit score, and email alerts regarding any activity. And the plan includes Safeguard for Minors to protect the identity of dependents under the age of 18. We've even partnered with Kroll Advisory Solutions, the industry leader in helping clients mitigate and respond to risk. So in the unfortunate event something does happen to your identity, you'll have professional help in getting your identity restored. And when you provide Kroll a limited power of attorney, a dedicated licensed investigator will do the restoration on your behalf. You can purchase this coverage for yourself and your family for only $14.95 a month, with coverage including you, your spouse, and with Safeguard for Minors up to 8 dependents under the age of 18. But when you purchase Legal Shield Legal Protection, you can add the identity theft plan for only $9.95 per month, giving yourself and your family access to our legal and identity theft plans for a total of only $29.90 a month. We also offer home business and trial defense supplements that can be used to increase your legal coverage with Legal Shield. If you own a home business, are a consultant, rent property, or have a part-time business, You probably need business legal advice. For only $9.95 per month, you can add our home business supplement to cover your business legal needs. We also offer trial defense supplement. Trials can be expensive and time-consuming, and you never know when you might need legal help to defend yourself in court. For only an additional $9.95 per month, you can add 100 trial defense hours to your legal plan. Make the smart decision today and protect yourself and your family with Legal Shield. Worry less, live more. Hello from Legal Shield. We're proud to offer Legal Shield Identity Theft Premium, a top-of-the-line identity theft protection and restoration plan. Identity theft affects millions of Americans each year. That's why Legal Shield Identity Theft Premium provides you with the information and expertise to protect your identity and resolve issues related to identity theft. Legal Shield Identity Theft Premium offers powerful proactive monitoring of your credit information, so you'll rest assured that your identity is always being protected. Stay covered with benefits like triple zero credit monitoring, with constant monitoring of your Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax credit files on a secure website, as well as email alerts about any activity on your credit file. WebWatcher with daily monitoring for unauthorized use of your Social Security number, credit and debit card numbers, and other personal information across the internet. And Public Persona with monthly monitoring of any changes involving your Social Security number or address history associated with your identity. In addition, you'll always have secure web access to your credit report and a detailed analysis of your personal credit score. The plan also offers several premium benefits on request, like lost wallet assistance, to help you cancel and replace cards and IDs, place temporary fraud alerts, and more in the event your wallet or purse is ever lost or stolen. Social Security number skip trace, a search that detects potential fraud by searching your Social Security number in over 34 billion current public records, and even a sex offender search to see if your address has been used by a registered sex offender. In the unfortunate event that you are ever the victim of identity theft, we've partnered with Kroll Advisory Solutions, an industry leader in security and risk mitigation, to provide a comprehensive restoration of your identity to what it was before the breach occurred. Dedicated licensed investigators at Kroll Advisory will perform comprehensive restoration services such as sending fraud alerts to all 3 national credit repositories, correcting identity theft issues with affected banks, credit card companies, law enforcement agencies, and other institutions, and working for as long as it takes to restore your identity. Legal Shield Identity Theft Premium also allows you to contact Kroll advisors as often as you like to speak about anything related to identity theft, ensuring you'll always have an identity theft expert on your side. Legal Shield Identity Theft Premium covers you and your spouse, but the special Safeguard for Minors service will protect all of your dependents under the age of 18 for whom you are legal guardian. Safeguard for Minors includes valuable information on credit education for minors, advice on the best uses of a child's Social Security number, and monitoring and alerts for the existence of any credit files in your child's name. And your dependents will be eligible for identical consultation and restoration services from Kroll Advisory Solutions. Arm yourself and your family with Legal Shield Identity Theft Premium today. Legal Shield. Worry less, live more.
Legal Shield is a program that monitors daily identity theft restoration, backed with legal representation, frivolous lawsuit protection, tax audit assistance, never married dependent children of the member or member spouse who are under 26 and living at home, or a full-time college student, students or children under age 18 for whom the member or member spouse is a legal guardian. Any dependent child, regardless of age, who is incapable of sustaining employment because of mental or physical disability. The smart people's choice. 24-hour emergency attorney access, unlimited consultation on any personal issue, nationwide network attorneys. By now, you're informed, and by now you have the ammunition, and by now you could and you should arm yourself against identity theft. Legal Shield. Worry less, live more. Peace of mind is what it's all about. Thank you for attending the webinar, Identity Theft Could Kill You. I'll email you the summary of the FTC key points to get you started. The comparison charts of the identity theft services out there that we covered, and a summary snapshot of your needed legal services that we also covered. Congratulations, I'm so excited that you made it. And as promised, here is your bonus. Go to www.EYN, stands for Enhance Your Net, -IDT, that stands for Identity Theft, .info/bonus. Again, that's www.EYN-IDT.info/bonus. To gain access, enter the code SAFE. Here are the FTC key points I'll be sending out to you. Minimize what you carry on your person. Don't carry your social security card. Ask why they're asking you for personal information. Trash. Safeguard it. Shred everything. Financial documents, bank statements if not needed, credit card offers, etc. And make sure you get a shredder that either cross cuts or at least vertical cuts. Monitor your credit. Contact and close any tampered accounts. Follow up in writing. Call the 3 major credit bureaus, contact and file a police report, and contact the FTC to report. Here's the website, ftc.gov.idt, and also 877-ID-theft. These are only to get you started, okay? Here's the comparison of the identity theft products that we covered, and also the recap of the most commonly used legal services when coming to identity theft. Suzette Koyman, she's on your side. Get your bonus. Go to www.EYN-IDT.info/bonus. To gain access, enter the code SAFE. It is case sensitive. And now you're going to get redirected to learn more about the specific plans of your state and have the opportunity to get started today, plus the ability to contact me. www.EYN-IDT.info/plan.